Welcome to the Liars Club. This is where we take our guests, we tell them to give us the truth, give us a lie, we figure out which is which. I'm Jessica Wellington.
I'm Felicia Michaels.
And you're about to get lied to.
Today we have some pretty amazing guests. I'm going to go ahead and introduce Kate Quigley, who is storming the country as a headliner, opening up for Joey Diaz, is all over the place. Thank you for showing up, Kate.
Thanks for having me. I'm happy to be here. I like coming here during the day. You know what I
know.
mean?
It's kind of weird,
it's
right?
like we're all real people.
Over in front of me, we got John Campanelli.
Hey, guys.
He's one of the first comics I saw here when I moved to L.A. at
Really?
Flappers.
Really?
Yeah, and I told you that I really enjoyed your set. You probably don't remember, whatever.
Go on.
That's amazing. He
only remembers this.
He remembers half of his sexual partners. Is that what you said when you got here?
I don't even know what I remember.
He just came in and introduced, I only remember half of my sexual partners.
I never thought it would happen to me, but I'm just slinging so much dick these days.
That it's affected my memory.
But along from, besides from his dick slinging, he is a great comedian. He runs a show here at the Comedy Store.
Thank you.
Do you do any podcasts or anything? I didn't.
I'll do one at some point. I will, but not yet.
The thrill in his voice.
Yeah. No, I want to, but I don't know. I can't really find my footing on it. I've had so many ideas for one, so I just got to kind of do it.
Or just start vlogging and posting those.
I'm not
and
gonna
see what happens. You know what's weird though is people like the videos. You guys post videos of this one every week. Yeah, because whenever I don't post,
we don't yet.
Oh, you don't.
But we're going to start because we're
start.
on the, yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah, because whenever I skip the video, people really do complain. Like some people,
really,
really?
Yeah, even if they're in their car, a lot of people use YouTube apparently to listen to podcasts. It's so weird, but so
there you go.
Even if you post the audio as a video, this is my podcast tip to you. Post it.
My goodness! See, there you go. We learn
Wow.
something every day.
Yeah.
Well, how we usually start off the Liars Club is we start off with a theme, and today's theme is worst sex you've ever had. And the reason I wanted to talk about the worst sex is because I don't mean to bust balls here, but am I wrong? Like with a lot of women comics, you can't talk about sucking dick anymore, right? Like people get uncomfortable. Like who's ever said, you know what, Lori Kilmartin, when you suck a dick, do you cup the balls? No one says that, right? And so I was excited that Kate's going to be on the show because I want to hear.
Kate sucks a lot of dicks.
I want to hear everything about Kate's dick sucking is what I want to hear.
Wow.
That's hilarious.
Me too, kind of.
Yeah.
What did I walk into? All right.
I didn't even know you're supposed to cup the balls until recently. I didn't even.
Are you serious?
I swear to God, you know what? It was on Joey's podcast. I said one guy couldn't get hard because he did too much blow, and Joey said you got to squeeze his balls to get him hard. And I said I didn't know that.
Cock sucking 101 right there, my friend.
Yeah.
Do you have to cup the balls as you are? Or is it just like the fondling?
Variety is always important, is my belief. But I could be wrong, Kate.
I mean, I'm no dick sucking expert by any means, but I understand that a lot of variety is good. You know what? Actually, I learned that if you watch a guy jerk off once, I learned this when I had my show on the Playboy
You
Channel.
can see what they like.
Yeah, you watch how they do it. You watch where they touch the most and the aggression and the speed and everything, and then you know what they're into.
That is mind-blowing.
Well, we do have a man here that
John.
represents all men. What are your thoughts on the cupping of the balls?
I think it's great. I will say cupping's good. I will say, I think sometimes, the best are when a woman is like trying to isn't doing a rehearsed version of a blowjob. Sometimes you get a girl who's like, this is what's worked for me in the past, but we are different in a lot of ways. Like what really makes that final push is like you got to know what makes us tick. So it's like, it's that like the intimacy of like being in the moment with the guy and like knowing like really trying to figure out what it is he likes rather than this has worked for me before.
I think we're really just like trading roles here today. With the men and women, right? It's like you have to know your man.
It's hard to sometimes.
I'm
it's
a little
hard
femme.
It's true. He's like, be in tune with the spirit. I'm like, squeeze his nutsack.
Filipinos and Asians are the best because they tend to be more nurturing. That's their culture.
I don't think we wanted to go there though,
Racist.
John.
No. It's a compliment. They are very good at pleasing a man because they're more like in that moment, like I want to please you. Like blondes, you guys don't give a shit, you know?
I give a shit. You know what I like though?
Oh my God.
I don't like 69 as much. I have to be focused
I
on
don't
the
like
blowjob.
69 either.
I agree with that. I
69 is
do
some
agree with that.
bullshit.
I used to when I was younger. I had some one night 69 stands. I did it in a bathtub once, almost died, but
Just hit one sex. Don't get drowned.
It's a good,
couldn't fit. I was on the bottom. And then I couldn't really breathe, and I was like, "What am I gonna do?"
right. I don't like doing 69 because always your nose will end up in someone's asshole.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I
good
just can't
point.
enjoy what you're doing if my nose is in your
Yeah.
asshole.
Right.
I
Well, it's
find
hard
that,
when you
yeah.
got something down your throat too, trying to enjoy. Like when I masturbate, I don't shove something down my throat to enjoy it more.
Me neither, unless I'm eating or I'm doing. Sometimes
Wait.
I do multitask.
I thought that doesn't get you off when you have a dick in your mouth. Oh man.
Well, it's really hard when you're with someone to figure out what their jam is. You know, 'cause I was with this guy once, and after I gave him a blowjob, he's like, "Your blowjobs are like jazz," and I was like, "Why? Because it's all over the place and not on beat. Like, why? What do you mean by that?"
He said it's like jazz. Was he a musician?
He was a
Oh,
musician.
okay, well, I guess that's
No, I wouldn't. That's not what I would
Hilarious.
picture. I would
Yeah.
picture something smooth.
Yeah.
Okay, there you go. There you go.
Yeah.
Well, the worst sex I ever had was right after I got divorced. I went on OkCupid, and I met this guy, and he was a teacher in Westwood. That's all I remember about him. And it was literally the first sex after my separation and divorce. And then we went to some hotel and had a drink, and then we went upstairs. And this is my big gripe. I'm just going to say it. I hate when you have sex with someone and they become like a jackhammer. You know what I
Oh,
mean?
the
Like,
worst.
and they're not even into pleasing you. They're just like a jackhammer. And he was like jackhammering so much. At one point, I thought I smelt tar, is all I'm saying. you know, like when
Hilarious.
it's like,
He was construction working.
yeah,
on you.
yeah. I don't like that. And that was the worst sex I ever had. And then one time I was stuck in traffic on Sunset, going one way, and he was stuck going the other way, and we had to sit there. This is about 2 months afterwards, and we looked at each other, and we were like, ooh.
And were you like, well, this is better than the sex was?
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh God, that's
Wow.
the worst when it's bad, and then you have to keep seeing the person like it's a coworker or someone that you know you're gonna run into, or like the bartender at your favorite bar or something. You're like, do I stop going there now? Like I've had that happen.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
So
Yikes.
what's the worst sex you've ever had, Jessica?
Oh, me?
Yes.
I was a whore back in the day.
Well done. We're applauding horse today.
Wasn't.
Definitely. I would probably say there's this one guy, and he just looked so good. God, he looked good. He was handsome. He had long dreadlocks. He was like a drug dealer, so I was really attracted to him at the time.
Wow, I'm surprised by that. But continue.
Well, this is in North Carolina, and I was, and he was a black guy. I was ready. I was like, this is gonna be so good because I've had sex with black guys before this, and most of them were pretty good. Nothing, some of them were maybe you wouldn't write home about, but so I was excited. I was
Can
excited.
we just talk about fucking without bringing race
I
into it?
This is the most racist episode of yours.
Is that
Talking about fucking good enough.
It's a culture thing. It's not. It's cultures.
But I get it because everyone assumes black guys have huge cocks.
Right,
and
well,
they-
not because he was like. Not only was he, I mean, he was just like the coolest fucking
They have
black guy.
swag.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
You can't just say this without
It's true.
saying that he was a black guy that was just fucking cool as shit. He had money. He had like a Honda something. And we thought that was.
He had money. He had a Honda. That's your money car.
Oh, man.
He drove a Civic.
Wow.
Wow.
Baller.
Yeah, but it had like rims and shit. You guys need to calm down.
Wow. You need to go to Sunset Ralph's and just fucking clean up, my friend.
That's just hitting me right now.
Every guy is like, that's all it takes. A fucking Honda.
I have a Honda right now. Am I doing better than I think?
Yes, you might be.
I have a new Honda Rolls Royce.
Whoa. And well, it wasn't great. He had the tiniest penis that I've ever seen.
Wow.
And he had a girlfriend, so we would do things usually on the side. So we were always in a rush. So it was never really
Oh, you were he was
So it was
cheating on
beyond-
his girlfriend with you?
Yeah, like I worked at Winn-Dixie at the time, so a lot of times I had to check them out.
Uh-huh.
So that way,
Wait, Winn-Dixie, that's like a grocery store, right?
Yeah.
And you were the checkout girl?
Yeah.
And you would bang the guys that came through?
sure.
That's amazing.
But he would come in with his girlfriend, and it was like I had to act like everything was normal, and finish, packing his groceries and send him on his way.
Yeah, you packed his groceries.
God damn.
So
Wow.
that's probably something that lends itself to not being good too. Is just we were always in a rush.
Right.
Yeah. Plus, there's that whole, I get scared. I can't hook up with guys with girlfriends. I'm afraid because I'm a psycho chick, so I know what psycho chicks do.
I did
And
it
I
for a
don't-
long time. I'm not saying I'm proud of it.
I'm just scared. I just don't want them to come after me and like murder me or like, I don't know, like hack my bank account or something.
Right.
But
That's
it's
what I'm
not
doing.
nothing to do with the guilt part of it.
Well, I mean, I like.
There's
wasn't-
no moral code here
I didn't wanna-
whatsoever. There's nothing.
I mean, there's that too for me, but also like even there's been times I've been fucking a guy and then found out he has a girlfriend and the sex was awesome, but I had
In the middle of fucking him?
no,
Well,
but
who's
like
that?
soon
Yeah.
after, like I've
okay.
been fucking guys and then gone to a party where they show up and with their like
And you're like, who the
fiancé.
fuck's this?
Oh,
Yeah.
wow.
Yeah, because I didn't know we'd be at the same party, and they walk in with like, "Oh, this is my live-in girlfriend," and you're like, "Oh, fuck!" Like then you have to choose. So I
Right.
would stop because I'm scared.
Wow.
Yeah,
That's no fun.
Well, what's the worst sex you ever had?
my worst I think was there's been a lot of bad sex in my life, but the worst was it was a guy I went out with a few times, and I think I knew we wouldn't have good sex, but I liked him. He was funny, and he was like one
We
of those
do that.
on
God.
paper good.
Yeah.
yeah. And then when we would drink and get a little buzzed, we'd have good chemistry making out. But then when we were sober, it was bad. So I just hoped that maybe the drinking chemistry would happen during the fucking.
Yeah, because sometimes that happens.
Yeah, you never know. So we finally went back to his place. It was like date 4, I think. And he made me dinner, which was awful. And then I should have known the sex would be bad because the dinner was so bland. It was like baked chicken with nothing on it and like vegetables with nothing on it. Like it was the blandest food. And then it was the blandest sex. So we start making out and I felt nothing, no chemistry. But I felt like I had to fuck him because he bought me dinner 4 times and he cooked for me. You know what I mean? You kind of feel like you have to.
There used to be back in the day, I can't remember her name, but some girl used to do this joke about, when you break up with someone and you talk shit to all your friends about this person and then you start dating him again, but you got to
Right.
do it in secret.
Yes.
Something like
Oh
that.
my God, I've
yeah.
done that so many times.
Yeah.
Yeah. So the long story short is the reason it was so bad is because there was music on. And then when we start making out, he's like, let's move to the bedroom. I'm like, okay. So he turned off the music and he turned off all the sound. There was no sound in the whole apartment, which is fine when you're really into each other and you're loud. But because I think we both were not really enjoying it, it was like a silent film. It was
Oh, really?
yeah, and then it was almost like he watched a video of step 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, how to fuck a girl, and he did each step, but like with no passion, nothing was happening. Finally, I got on top of him so I could fake it because I realized he wouldn't come until he thought he made me come. So I got on top of him.
Oh, shit, we're going deep. Okay, keep going.
I bit him. Okay, so here's where I'm like, maybe if I be a little rougher with him, it'll get something going. So I bit his neck a little, and he said, ow. That was the only sound of the whole sex is he said, ow, and then I said, did I hurt you? And he said, my skin is sensitive. And then I said, okay, why don't you just fuck me and finish? And he did. But here's the worst part. He gets up afterwards. He goes to the bathroom. He comes back in. He really did have a crazy hickey.
Oh, really?
And I didn't bite him that hard. And he asked, do you have any makeup you could leave here so I can cover this? Because I have a really important audition tomorrow. I have to be on camera. And so I had to leave makeup
Concealer.
at his house.
So, I'm sorry. So he was an actor and he couldn't even, act like he was a good lay? You know what I
No,
mean? Like he
it
couldn't
was-
put himself in character?
So awkward. And then since then, there have been a couple times where we've been in the same audition or even in the same, one time we were even in the same shot. And it was just, we both know. He was mad. He was actually mad I left that on him.
Wow.
And I left him.
It's
we
not
never
your
talked
fault that
again.
he's this wimpy ass, fucking bland fuck.
Actor, fuck. Fuck you, actors.
That's why I don't fuck actors anymore. That's
Yeah, like
it.
how are you supposed to know that he had such sensitive skin?
It was so bad, and I didn't even come, and then I had to walk to my car by myself in the dark.
Oh yeah, so fuck him.
No.
Jeez,
Jeez.
fuck that guy.
All
I mean,
right.
don't fuck him again, but screw that.
Never again.
What are your thoughts about all this?
Women are way more specific than men because I feel like sex to a guy is still sex. So it's like, yeah, there are like I can't think of one that stands out. I have there's like different categories of bad, you know, like so I don't know like what like I don't have any I have like there's a couple that I was scared of. I was scared during sex.
Really?
Because
Tell
I was
us
like,
why.
I feel like
Why?
you're dirty and I shouldn't be doing this.
Oh, okay.
I've had a couple of those where I'm like one, she knew, and because what happened was she had a tattoo here and a tattoo there. It was like basically a Satan belt that wrapped around her entire waist. Like she had a tramp stamp and then one here, and I just something about it and the person that I knew that knew her, I was just like, I feel like these are party girls, and like real party girls. And so she like I was a little drunk. I'm good at using
no.
in
Gosh,
college. It got to
golly.
the point where
Golly.
no, but I didn't use a condom.
Sean!
No, I didn't. But so she was on top.
Yeah, then you should be scared.
That's what I'm saying.
Sorry, I yelled.
That's what I'm saying. It was like she was on top of me, and I must have looked like a deer in headlights because she stopped and was like, honey, we're already doing it. It's fine. Because she could probably see that I was like, I feel like I want to not do this anymore. And she was like, it's already happening. Like she was basically telling me, you know.
Might as well enjoy it
Too
now
late.
because yeah.
She ended up being fine, thankfully. But at one time I had sex with a girl who I just, something about when her pants came off, something made me feel like this was not a clean person. And I kind of knew she was a little promiscuous. And I had a condom on. But even with the condom on, I was
You careful?
very careful, not even going fully in and out.
You never let your balls touch it?
Not even close. And I couldn't finish. I had to lie. I mean, I lied. I was very,
faked it?
I do it all the time. I can't, I have trouble with a condom on. I've never liked wearing a condom. So it's like,
neither.
it really sucks. So I was going not very in and out, just very slow, like this, and it was not enjoyable. And I was like, I gotta get this over with. I've had sex with girls I didn't want to have sex with. I've almost felt bad. I'm like, I guess I'll just do it, you know?
I've done that too.
Yeah. and then
We're all guilty.
one girl, this was really gross.
John,
Is,
like, I don't have any
is
of
the
this.
mic on for
No.
Andrew? Oh, okay.
This is I'm gonna be honest with you guys. Her butt smelled really bad.
Like poop?
Very bad, like fresh, like hot.
Like
I almost threw up, and I kept getting wafts of it. She wanted to do it from behind, and this was very nauseating, guys. It was a very nauseating experience. It wasn't cool. I was trying to get through it. Dude, I'm gonna tell you right now, like it was like hot.
Yeah,
it
I
was
was
like
this
she
is
just
something-
went and then said,
I feel
"Fuck
like-
wiping."
I feel like we should give you some paper and
gonna
crayons so
throw
you
up.
can draw it out because it's affecting you still. Like,
It was
the look on
really.
your face
I
is just,
told I referred to her as Duty Butt to one of my friends. I said, "Yeah, she's now Duty
So
Butt."
gross,
This
though.
is something I was thinking
Wow.
about. So if
duty, but
well, no, as just the other day, literally, because I see the people in my alleyway, they pee and stuff all the time. I've seen girls, homeless girl. She had a thong on. That was weird. I was like, why are you wearing a thong as a homeless person?
By the way,
Whatever.
can I stop you 2 seconds? Hold that
Yes,
thought.
please.
She was extremely
Hot.
attractive. I did not see this coming.
she was
she
like,
was
I'm so fucking beautiful.
she
I don't
was
even need to wipe
clean
my
looking.
ass."
So gross.
Everything. And I was like, well, she had come there from she like drove down to LA from where she was. And I don't want to say where she lived in case for some reason she listens to this, but it's like a 45-minute drive. So I'm thinking maybe it was just a long hot day. I'm
Yeah,
gonna
she had
give
a
her
little
but
bit
it
of-
was fucking gross.
So I don't know about you guys, but if I think there's any chance in hell I might be fucking, I'm like obsessive
true.
about my
Yes,
shit
yes.
being clean.
and
Obsessive.
and it's
Yeah.
okay. It's okay. It's naturally there might be a little bit. This was like she
But
was
let-
putting it onto my, taking it. It was. I felt like somebody was rubbing it onto me.
So let me ask you this: but are you a like a germaphobe?
Yes.
Yes. Okay. Okay. See, you needed to start the story off with, I'm a germaphobe, but here's a story. Are you a germaphobe, Kate?
It's weird. I'm not a germaphobe, but when it comes to sex, I dated a guy who was, and he was so obsessed with us both being clean to the point of like, if we worked out or something and we were gonna fuck, he'd be like, let's shower first. And once I got used to fucking really clean, I talk about this on my podcast. I'm obsessed with being sex ready at all times. So, like, let's say I shit in the middle of the day. Let's just say magically I have trouble shitting, but let's say I was able to do it in the middle of the day. I would literally, like, wash my butthole out in the bathroom just on the off chance that I might fuck. Like, I'm that obsessive. And it's not because I fuck that much. It's because once I started fucking really, really clean, I realized how much more I enjoy it as a woman.
So is it if you...
Because you're not worried about.
Because I'm confident.
But if
Right.
you, what about if you go to the bathroom when you're not in your home? Are you still washing your?
I carry Summer's Eve wipes for this exact occasion, and I will scrub out my butthole like I'm fucking. Like I wash.
You are
that
a
shit.
soldier.
I swear to God, man. I'll tell you something. That is the one thing I will say, and I'm not saying this in any arrogant way because I have a million flaws and I'm a psycho and I get dumped all the time. But one thing every guy says about me, they're like, "You have the cleanest pussy." Like, you're like superhero pussy clean. Like, it's always fucking clean and lasered all the time. I
That's
keep
what's
that
up.
shit ready to go.
Wow, I've had
up.
some dirty sex. Like being from the trailer park, I've had it under bushes.
I'll fucking dirty locations. Like, I love
Oh, yeah.
to fucking out in alleys.
Oh, I've done some
bars.
crazy shit. Yeah.
I remember one time we were in a trailer, and it was a mattress that there was no cover on. We had sex on it. I
Yeah,
was
this
on my
sounds terrible.
period.
Oh.
Yeah. So it made like a little heart on the mattress. And I thought that was sweet.
Can I ask
so
John?
wrong and
can
right in so many ways.
I know we have to tell our stories, but can I ask John a question as a guy that I've been dying to ask?
Yeah.
Yes,
Okay,
please.
there's a guy I used to date, and we still fuck every now and then. We couldn't date because we're both crazy, but we have amazing, incredible sex. But the whole time, he would never fuck me on my period, not ever. He's so obsessive about blood, like even if there's a drop, he'll be like, don't come over, right? But like a week and a half, 2 weeks ago, he fucked me on my period. Not only was I on my period, I told him, I'm like, it's the beginning. It's going to be a bloodbath. He's like, I don't give a fuck. And I think that means he's in love with me. Do you think that means he's in love with me?
I think that he was addicted to you.
You're telling the
minimum.
story a little odd.
I am?
Because I'm trying to figure out if like. Because now he's like really into it. I'm like,
fuck every
did
now
he
and
watch a
then.
weird porn with it? That he got it into it, or like, is it just like a thing? Because it could be. I will say this. Okay, I'll give you an example. There was this girl. She wanted to. We hooked up a few times, and then, but only a few times, like twice maybe. Then she came over, had her period. She's very sexual, and she was a lot younger than me at the time. And she came over and she brought.
She'd still be a lot younger than you, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
He murdered her for
she
bleeding
caught
on
up.
the sheets.
Oh, you're reminding me of so many stories now, bleeding on the sheets. I'll stop. Quickly. She came over with a towel, ready to have sex on her period. Now, if I like you, even if it's in the beginning, if I like already know I'm into you, like, yeah, I don't care. It's not like it's natural. It's like whatever. But if I don't, and I don't like, for instance, like there's a lot of stuff in blood. Like if I was using a condom with her, like I was sure she was fine, but she was so sexual that I wasn't completely convinced. So I was kind of like, I don't really want to, I wasn't in the mood to have sex that night, to be honest. And she was like, oh, I'm on her period. And I was like, yeah, I'm just not really in the mood. And she's like, is it because I'm on my period? I go, nah, I mean a little bit, but also like I just had a long day and I'm really tired. I thought we were literally just gonna come. You were just gonna come chill, but she got mad at me. She's like, I think that's disgusting that you won't have sex with me on my period. And I was like, dude, it has nothing to do like with the blood. Well, it does. I don't like looking at blood when I'm having
one
sex.
loves
I'm not a
it.
psychopath. I don't look, but like if I like the girl, I'll still do it. But yeah, I think it comes down to. Now he might actually like you.
I think it means he loves me.
I don't know if it's
Has
love,
he
but
earned his Red Wings?
What does that mean?
Yeah, is that what kind of fucking Winn-Dixie bullshit is that?
that is some
Does that
Winn-Dixie
mean did
bullshit.
he win a Stanley Cup? But I don't know.
That means when they give you oral sex on your.
Oh,
That's
actually,
a lady. That's a lady.
oh my God! Wait, actually, hold on.
where do you
understand?
come from?
I've been no.
You have have no idea.
Actually, I have fucked this guy for 5 years on and off, and not only would he never even fuck me on my period, he would never dream of doing that, but this night, he did go down on me.
That's love.
That's
love.
Me.
That's
he
love.
Loves me. I think he's in love with me. I decided. That's how I know. He fucked me on my period. He hates blood. He's OCD as fuck. And yeah, he went down. He only
That's it.
hit the clit.
I've heard enough. This
Thank
man's
you.
the
I
man.
knew it. I think he's going to propose.
Wow.
I can't wait to say no.
Wow. wow.
Wow.
Sorry.
Well, anyway, I think we've warmed up.
Yeah, we really went on that one.
That was the Red Wings thing, though. That was that.
I'm engaged.
That's
Okay.
so funny. That's how he proposes. Just covered in blood.
That sounds like a red.
I don't even need a ring. He
Red
takes it
beard
out
on
of his mouth,
all
yeah.
of a sudden. Well, thank you guys for coming here to the Liars Club. We're going to move on. I think there's no way we can, otherwise, unless we talk about just shit in our mouth, there's like no way we can go any deeper on this subject. So I think we're just going to move on. So we're going to come to the competition part of our lovely podcast where we ask you both to do a story, one a real story and one a lie, and then we'll ask you questions during it, and then we'll try to afterwards, Jessica, right, say who has which one is the lie and which one is not.
Yes.
That took forever.
I also thought about it today that our initials for our podcast are TLC.
Oh.
Oh my god! Oh my god! If you were on your period, I'd eat you out right now. Anyway,
How do you know she's not? Get on the table.
so anyway, we're gonna start with you, Kate. What's your first story? You can mix it up, do whatever you gotta do.
Okay. My first story was actually the only one-night stand I ever had. I've had one one-night stand.
Okay, already a little suspicious. Go ahead.
Okay.
One-night stand. So I met this guy, super duper hot. I don't want to say exactly what he does, but he's an athlete. Okay. I never, ever, ever just fuck athletes because I feel like I have to make them work harder so that there's a chance of keeping them. But this guy,
Jesus.
this guy, we had a couple drinks. I was feeling a lot of chemistry. And then he was like, you know, if you come back to my place, we don't have to fuck. We can just kick it. And I was like, maybe he means it. Okay. So I went back to his place. We didn't fuck right away. He ate my pussy for so long. I think I came like 15 times. But for,
Oh, wow.
But for me,
Wow.
once a guy goes down on me, I can't not fuck him. I really can't. It's impossible.
Wow.
It makes me, I don't know about you, it makes me crazy. So
That's what it means when someone say, let's kick it a little bit.
I'm
That's
not a
what that
huge fan
means.
of oral sex, but
Really?
I'm not unless they're really good.
Really?
But if they're really
I only
good,
had one guy that was really good.
yeah, it's like 1 in 5, I think.
Yeah.
I don't know. Anyway, okay, so we end up fucking, and the sex is so good. And then he's really sweet. He like cuddled me all night. We talked a lot, and everything was great. And then he had a really nice house. And the next morning, he had to leave early. And he said, "You can kick it here, sleep in as late as you want. Just make sure when you leave, you lock the door behind you." And I was like, "Okay, perfect." So he left. So I end up, ironically, shitting in his bathroom. And when I go to flush the toilet, it won't flush. The toilet flusher doesn't work. Something's wrong. So I didn't know what to do because I didn't want to leave shit in this guy's
Right.
toilet because I actually want to see him again, and it's gross.
Right.
So I went to the kitchen. I got a plastic bag, and I came back to the bathroom,
No!
and I scooped the poop out of the toilet. And then I knotted the bag up, and I took a shower. I cleaned the toilet, and then I go to leave. And on my way out, I put the poop down, and I wrote him a note that says, "Hey, your toilet's not working. In your bathroom, you might want to call a plumber." And then I left. I locked the door behind me. And then I realized I had left the bag of shit sitting on the counter
No, you
next to the
didn't.
note. So
What was it? Granite countertops? What are we looking at?
I think marble, like whitish.
Okay.
gray.
How did you forget the poop? How
Because
did
I
you do
sat
that?
on the counter, I wrote, and then I grabbed all my stuff. And you're not used to leaving with a bag of shit. I didn't. Think
That's like a
about it.
real fuck you, is what it seemed like,
Right,
probably.
'cause I left it
Wow.
next to the note that said your toilet's not working.
Yeah, so fuck you, piece of shit.
So then I called a locksmith because I was not leaving a bag of shit in this
Oh,
guy's
that's
house.
smart, yeah.
So I called a locksmith, and the locksmith came, and he wanted to see ID to prove that I lived there, and I didn't have it. So I had $500 on me. So I'd gotten paid cash for a gig the night before.
Were you honest with the locksmith guy?
Yeah, I said I don't live here, but I left
You
a
didn't
bag
think,
of
like,
shit
look,
on the counter.
If
did
you
tell him?
open it
I told
up
him the
and you
truth.
look at the shit, I had corn last night. Nothing like that.
No, oh God, no. So I gave the locksmith guy $500,
Oh my god.
and he let me back in. So I spent $500 to take that shit home with me.
Did you try windows first?
There was no windows. It was like a well, it wasn't a
That's a
condo.
very
but it
good
was like a loft.
question.
I would have tried windows first.
It was a
No.
loft.
It was on an upper floor.
So it was just the door at the bottom?
Well, there was an elevator and then a door, but there was no windows that you could climb in. I guess technically, if I would have scaled the fire escape, I could have.
Right.
But
Okay.
anyway, so I left and I took the shit, and then I texted the guy the next day, and guess what?
What?
I never saw him again. He never saw me again.
This is
He texted
disgusting.
me back.
Uh-huh.
He said, "Great time," and then I said, "You should come visit me." This was not in LA. This was on the road.
Okay.
I said, "You should come visit me in LA. We had such amazing sex," and he said, "The off season soon. I'll totally be down." And I never saw him again. So I spent $500 to retrieve a bag of shit.
What about if you had security cameras?
Then that would explain it.
Oh.
Then that would explain why I never saw him again. But I don't think
I hope this is true.
I don't think he had security
know.
cameras.
I
There probably
know.
were in the hallway or in the
How
elevator
long
I-
ago was this?
shaft. This was the last year I shot my Playboy TV show, so two years ago.
Oh, for
So did
sure
they have
there's
those Nest
security
cams
in
then?
there. Yeah. Oh.
Oh.
I mean, it was a really
I-
nice place. There probably were security cams on. Thinking about
Because
it.
that must have looked crazy as fuck.
I know. So that's my shitting story. Another shitting story.
Well, interesting. I'm surprised. No, that you did. What throws it off a little bit is you saying all of a sudden then he was in a loft because I imagined a house. But we're gonna move on. John, it's your turn.
All right. So should this be sex related?
No,
No,
you
not at all.
okay.
You got a tractor one?
I got some really good
You
ones.
said a tractor?
Tractor?
Yeah, it could be anything.
Your brain goes from sex to tractors.
No clue.
All right. I remembered this today. I don't know.
Why are you wearing
Take
so
your
much?
sunglasses off.
There's no rules.
Okay.
I'm a bad liar.
Okay.
Bullshit.
I'm a bad liar.
Oh, God.
Okay, all right. We'll let you do it.
It's retarded.
This
was
isn't Campanelli style unless you have gum.
This was kind of you're right. I need some gum. This was kind of fucked up. Hilarious looking back, not so funny at the time. It's not like the craziest story. I think if you were there, if you can feel how embarrassing it was. So I always wanted to go to the Playboy Mansion, always, and I finally got invited. It was like 6 years ago, and so a buddy of mine, relatively big celebrity, I'll leave his name out. He was like, "Dude, I got an invite. Let's go." I was like, fucking stoked. I was like, "Dude, are you kidding me?" Like, now I had done a little Playboy radio prior to that, like right when I first started stand up. So I knew a couple of the Playmates. I co-hosted a couple times.
Have you ever
with-
dated a playmate?
I dated a porn star.
Okay.
I did not date a Playmate, but a couple of my really good, like Jessica Hall is she's amazing. I actually co-hosted with her, and she's the best. And she was the one that got me because I met her at TV Guide Network. I worked there before I did stand up. So I'm like super excited to go to Playboy Mansion. I'm like, dude, I can't believe this is happening. Like, whatever. So we get there, and my buddy's like pretty well known. I would have thought he would have, he had an invite. So we get there, and they're like, "Hey man, you're not on the list tonight." Like they wouldn't let us in. And I was like, "Are you kidding me?" Like I was so pissed, So I've been told I have a familiar face. People have, just say like you kind of look familiar. Like sometimes if people have gotten like, look, a little douchey of me to say, but people have said that I look a little famous. So
You look like a cop that's gonna pull me over right now, but
so
Look a little.
no. So one of the security guards.
Are you wearing a hat and sunglasses indoors when you say it?
I'm trying to play the part. So one of the guys, so another a bouncer comes over, and he looks at me, and he's like, "What's up?" And they go, "He's not on the list." And he just goes, he looks at me, and goes, "What's up, man?" And I go, "Oh, what's up?" And he goes, "Yeah, they're good." And I was like, "Oh shit, I just got recognized."
and you're like new at stand up.
Yeah, so I was like, maybe I don't know. Like I wasn't thinking maybe it's from Playboy Radio. Maybe it's from. I'm just thinking like, because at the time too, I feel like when you're younger in the game, you think you're a bigger deal than you are. So I was like, oh shit, man. I'm really doing stuff now. I just got recognized by the bouncer at the Playboy Mansion. Like, and I'm getting my friend in who thinks he's a big deal. Fucking work for me, dude.
That's awesome.
So we walk in, and it's like, I mean, it's amazing. Playboy Man. I mean, have you been?
No.
Yeah, it's incredible. Have you been?
Yeah.
Okay, it's incredible. So
Why wouldn't you even ask me?
that was well played.
Oh shit.
I don't know. I don't know. I mean,
Really fucked up.
I mean,
I'm gonna
look,
go
there's a bunch
now.
of cool rooms. I don't know if they have.
She fucks in swamps and shit.
I know,
She be
I
fucking
know.
all over
So the
ground.
pool,
I know.
the
They
pool
probably-
there would have been perfect.
I didn't see any like real hepatitis mattresses there, but maybe if they had one of.
They're in Hef's room.
So we go in, and I'm not there for very long. I'm enjoying myself. I'm like pumped, and security like walks up to me, and they go, "Sir, what's your name?" And I was like, "What?" And I look, and the guy that let me in is like there with a couple people. And they're like, "Sir, we're just curious what your name is." And I go, and I fucking knew it. I knew it. I looked at him, and I was like, "This is not like he thought I was somebody else, you know, because of the familiarity of my face. I've been told, and all this stuff." So the security like they didn't like surround me. They were pretty cool, but they were like, "What's your name?" And I go, "John." And they were like, "All right, yeah, so you're gonna have to come with us." And then my friend started to walk away, and I was like, "Dude, what are you doing?" And they were like, "You have to come with us. Like, you're sorry, you know, we had you mistaken for somebody else." And I was like, "Well, he was actually invited. Like, his name should be on the list." And I was like giving his name, and they were like, "I'm sorry, man, not tonight." And now it's like Chris Evans, Captain America is there, Adrian Grenier is there, it was like really I was like mortified. I was like, oh my God, this is the worst first experience ever. So then another guy comes, he's like, "Look, dude, I you know, my bad, you know," but I go, "John," I said my whole name, I'm John Campanelli. I'm a comedian. I perform at like some of the biggest clubs. Like, and I wasn't, but I was like, "You can Google me." I said that. Like, I didn't know what to do. I'm trying to pull everything
You didn't
out.
tell them that you host Playboy Radio?
I would. Have you ever been in a situation like that? Like that was like a real Hollywood
That
like
doesn't happen to women.
fuck you. Like I was like shitting. I was like
They just
so
let me write in.
embarrassed. No, I know. That's why I didn't have to ask you. I actually saw you there that night. That's why
Who do
you
I
should
have to
know this
blow?
is true. But no, so then they basically, I went to the bouncer, and then I was like, "Look, man," I didn't even mention the Playboy Radio thing, and I was just like, "Look, man, I'm a comedian," and basically he was just like, "You know what? He's cool," and then they let me stay, and then I guess they knew who my buddy was, so they were just like, "All right, yeah, you guys are cool, like whatever," and then they let us stay, and it was fucking like, but for a solid like 3 to 5 minutes, like my world stopped. I was like, "This is it for me. I'm done. I'm moving back home."
I like that you thought anyone would like remember like that.
Right,
oh,
but but
guy.
it was, I'm telling you, it was a super
Humiliating.
embarrassing moment to be like, because it went from like euphoria of like, dude,
Oh yeah.
I just got to like, yeah, you're not who we thought you were. You got to get out of here.
I would think that bouncer though, like if I were that bouncer, I'd be like, I'm gonna do this guy a solid because I fucked up.
Well, they were trying to be discreet. I'll give them that. Like they were
Yeah, 'cause
trying
they
to
don't
be.
really want to ruin the party unless
no,
they
no,
have to.
They weren't like bringing it to a screeching halt.
Right.
And if you're there with someone else who's famous too, they don't want that guy to be like, "Fuck, this guy's a fucking idiot."
Yeah,
whatever.
but it's exclusive. It's tough to get in.
It is.
It's like it's not. They're not just going to be like, "Oh, whatever, we fucked up. Let these two guys in." So
Well, I think that's a pretty solid story. I mean, it felt a little at the end like you kind of ran
know.
out of ideas for it. I'm just saying. I'm not saying that's the
wait,
lie.
but what do you mean? Ran out of ideas? It was just like a cool story. There was no really. How
It
did
felt
I-
real to me just because
Okay.
it was so nothing that exciting happened that like if I made it up I would have added something.
But
like
that's
they
why I was
shot at
saying.
me.
No, but that's
No,
why
but
I'm saying
that's
like.
the plot to every homeboy movie out there.
Yeah.
Hangover, whatever. I mean, all kinds of bro movies.
It's
they
just
go to the.
you have to understand too, like, and this is where maybe,
You're right.
and this is where maybe.
But you should have thrown in something like, and then one of the playmates started blowing me in the bathroom, and that's when security
No,
busted in.
nothing like that happened. But let me tell you, but this is why. but this is where being a man and a woman we differ, because to you guys, you're like, I don't understand. But you have to understand, like,
do.
I wanted to go there so bad. Like, that was like the most mortifying. And then, like, to let me in like that, and then to have security come at me, and I had to make this decision.
How
like,
old were you?
I'm 33 now, so it was 6 years ago. So yeah, I was 27. I've been doing comedy.
Okay, I thought maybe this was like a 21-year-old story or
No.
22-year-old story.
No.
Trying to make it better.
All right, fair enough. Okay,
Yeah,
my
so-
bad.
It reminds me of the episode of Sex and the City where Vince Vaughn is pretending he owns that mansion in the hills, and then it turns out he's like the personal assistant.
And plus, like, you know, I know, you know, Hugh was like not doing well health-wise at that point already. Like, I don't know if I'm ever gonna be like, I don't know what's gonna happen, you know. So it was like I was like really, really excited, and to be almost like, and I had to make this executive decision, like, am I just gonna not leave and have them like drag me out,
That would have been awesome. That's what
That
I
or
would've
like,
been
because
awesome.
I'm,
At least get in the
or do I
news.
just,
Yeah.
or do I just go, all right, and then leave, and then just be like, one day I'll be back, you know, like with that mentality of
Right.
like, now I'm gonna work harder and be back.
What were you leaning towards? Because you had
Leaving.
to have
I
that.
mean, I was trying to. I was like, hey man, you know, like I'm a comedian, you know, like you can look me up, and then I was.
You
but
can
then
look me up.
I
Oh,
said,
you can Google
I said to
me.
Google, what else do you do in that situation to prove that I'm, you know? So, I mean, I
There's
wasn't.
no way to
I wasn't
not
gonna
sound-
fight.
Yeah.
I wasn't gonna fight. I would have just been like,
6 years ago, Google was still big, I guess.
Well, that's an interesting. That's an interesting one.
Yeah, let's
Good
get,
two good contenders.
let's simmer on
Kate,
that
your
one.
second story.
All right. Well, my second story also involves shitting. I thought there might need to be a theme, so I came prepared with the shitting theme today. Okay. So the second story is actually the only time I ever pooped my pants, and
Only ones?
well, as an adult. Well, technically,
Well,
there
how
was
many times
actually-
have you shit your pants,
technically, I
Jessica?
kind of
I got a
started
couple
one.
stories.
Oh God, she's like, I was the girl John was talking about earlier.
oh, duty butt.
I guess technically I kind of shit my pants twice, but this was a really bad one.
Okay.
So, I used to take this stuff for anxiety. I call it shitting powder, but really it's a stuff called Natural Calm, and you put a teaspoon of it in water, and it's supposed to kind of calm you down. So I don't like to take drugs, believe it or not. So I, at least for that. So so anyway, I would put like a teaspoon in water, and it was helping my anxiety. But I would sometimes forget. So I would start to feel so calm for a couple days, I wouldn't take any. One night I was going to Ventura Harbor Club to headline, and I only mentioned headlining because...
I was thinking the same exact thing. I just thought to myself, did you really have to say that last sentence?
I
No, I'm
only
kidding.
mentioned headlining because I had to do 45 minutes. And on the way up, I started to feel really anxious. And not like nervous for the show, like anxious, like just my anxiety. I felt it. I called my girlfriend. I don't know what's going on. She said, well, have you been taking the calming powder? And I said, you know what? I forgot to take it the last couple of days. That's probably what it is. I was like, I'm going to take some right now. I keep it in my
I'm
car.
taking my calming
Such a weird
powder.
thing to say, though, the calming powder.
Well,
That's
she's
so
the one
like
that-
18th century.
The
Did you
calming
take your
powder.
calming
Yeah.
powder?
So this stuff is actually magnesium citrate, which makes, if you don't know what that is, they give it to you before a colon cleanse to make you shit, but you drink like a whole bottle, like this much of it, right? So I didn't know that. So I said, you know, I'm going to have some. I'll have a little extra because
I'll
I've
double
been
my
really tense. So I took it. I put
get
like
the
3 or
headlining
4
remark
teaspoons,
now.
All right, I shook up my water, chugged it. I get to the club. I'm in the green room. Show already started when I got there, and the feature's on. And I was like, man, now I'm tired. I feel too calm. Like I came down too much. I need to perk up.
I better do some coke.
No, I got a coffee.
Either way, it's bad
as
for the
bad.
bowels.
Probably worse. Yeah, so I walk out, and if you know Ventura Harbor Club, the water there is
Yeah.
probably questionable coming out of the pipes anyway. Not to throw it under the bus. I love that club, but like I got a coffee, I have a couple sips. The feature act's got maybe 3 minutes left. That third sip of coffee hit my stomach, and it was like instantly I felt, oh my God, I have to shit. Like right now. Like that.
See, that's me all the time. That's why I've had more poop stories.
I'm not like that. I have trouble shitting in the
Very
first place. I
confessional
don't shit
today.
well. So I fucking, all of a sudden I feel it. And Randy, the club owner, standing there. I go, Randy, I gotta go to the bathroom. keep the feature on stage. He goes, I just let him. I go, keep him fucking on stage. I walk to the bathroom. As I'm walking, I'm like, it hurts so bad. I'm like, maybe I just need to fart. Maybe it's gas.
No,
Maybe if I fart, I'll be okay.
Probably not what you should be thinking.
You shouldn't fart and walk either. In that circumstance, it's bad
Well,
business.
that's what I did. Okay, I farted, and it wasn't a fart. It was a shart. It was a wet poopy fart.
What color
Poop
were your
came out.
pants?
Poop came out. Light, very light denim.
Okay.
So now I'm wearing light denim, a white T-shirt, and I go into the bathroom. I walk in. I know right away. I shut the door, and I'm like, fuck. I have like 2 minutes. There's shit in my pants. I have light pants on. So I pull my pants down, I sit down, and it's bad. It's like diarrhea. It's bad. It's liquefied. The shit liquefied, okay? Only I forgot that my T-shirt was short in the front and long in the back. So when I sat, the back of my shirt dipped in the toilet like a tea bag and fucking turned the back of the shirt tan. And now I'm trying to wipe the shit out of my pants. So I cleaned up as best I could. I took a paper towel. I wiped it. I have a huge wet spot on my pants. I tucked the back of my shirt in. I go out there. Which, by the way, I told Ralph he made this story. He goes, why the fuck didn't you just say I'm sick? Put someone else on stage. I'm like, I don't know. So I come back out and I fucking go up on stage and I sat on the stool. I'll never forget. I sat on the stool like pretty much my whole set because I didn't want people to see that I had shit on the back of my pants. I didn't know what it looked like. And I did it. I did my act. It definitely wasn't my best set ever. Let's just say that. And I could smell it.
Your act outs weren't as.
And then you went and had sex with John Campanelli.
And then I fucked John that night.
And guys, presenting Duty Butt.
Yeah.
Thanks for the reveal. We actually talked about this. That was the whole reveal. Got him. Yeah.
So, but and then I got off stage, and then the worst part was it was Halloween, and I had to judge a costume contest
Afterwards.
And I took photos of everyone.
You should have just told people you
Yeah.
dressed up as a comedian who shits herself.
Yeah.
I know. So, but I did my whole time, and I'm proud of that.
Wow. I'm
That's
sorry
a big
I
deal.
laughed so hard, but I
can't get
guess
off
I
stage.
like.
Well, we don't know if this one's
story.
true. Don't give her props yet.
Yeah.
We
I
don't
hope
know.
that one's true. I don't know which one. I don't know which shit story I'm rooting for.
I know. I mean, the scoop in your poop is legendary if it's true.
Yeah, calming powders. That sounds like bullshit, don't you think, John?
If that scoop poop story was true, then it'd be hard to believe that you wouldn't have a bit about it because you're obviously saying
Oh,
you need to get your toilet fixed, you piece of shit, and then you left him a piece of shit.
Do you have any bits about any of those stories?
I do not have bits about either poop story.
I will stick up for you though and say it is difficult to do poop stories on stage.
Well, the thing is I've told the story that is true on several podcasts.
Oh, wow.
So I don't usually do things that I've told on a lot of podcasts.
You're telling a recycled shit story?
Wow.
Jesus
I
Christ.
Oh my. Have you no
Anyway,
tact?
I knew you guys wouldn't know, but so people that know me may know, but
All right. Okay, so what's your last story?
I guess I'll keep it. We were talking about have a familiar face. Well, I was talking about it, and so I was interning at Fox News Channel when I was 22. I was in college.
You weren't doing stand up then.
I was not doing stand up. I was in New York, and was I 21 or 22? I graduated. I think I was 22, and so on my way to work, I was at Grand Central, and they were shooting the movie Revolutionary Road with Leonardo DiCaprio. And I was like, I wanted to act, I wanted to do it all. I wasn't doing that then, so I was like, okay, this is my shot. So they had everything blocked off, like tons of security, everything. And I was dressed nice, I was like a really good shape, I was like, and I just walked right through security. I just walked right.
They're both basically kind of the same story. Go ahead.
I know. That's kind of the point.
I looked amazing. Everyone knows who I was.
And
You can Google me.
and I walked through security, and no one said anything. So now I'm walking around, and I'm like, where the I was gonna give Leonardo DiCaprio my number and email
And a hand job.
and a hand job. I was gonna give him my number and my email, and tell him like, hey, I want to get into acting. That was my fucking plan. Okay? This is a crazy thing to do.
So what happened?
So now I'm on set.
Okay.
And I'm walking around set and I see someone and I go, I just go, hey, where's Leonardo DiCaprio? And they go, he's in his trailer. And I was like, oh, okay. And they're like, why? And I was like, oh, no, someone needed him. And then they were just like, oh, okay. And then I was like, where are the trailers? And this asshole tells me, he goes, they're right back there. So I walk, there's like a side street. And now I'm walking there and I see this kid probably around my age. I go, hey, which one's Leonardo DiCaprio's trailer? He's like, why? And I go, I just wanted to say what's up to him. And he goes, are you like in the movie or something? And I was like, no. And they're like, are you working on the set? And I was like, no. To be honest with you, he looked like he was like my age. I go, dude, I just walked through and I just want to meet Leonardo DiCaprio. And the kid was like, dude, you can get in a lot of trouble for this. And I was like, I know. And he was like, well, whatever. I'm actually, I'm like around these trailers. And he goes, well, his trailer's right there, but like I could get in trouble too. And I was like, well, I can't knock on it, can I? Or something like that. And he was like, no, I wouldn't. Just like he'll come out though. So like we walked by his trailer and now I'm standing there with him and I'm dressed really nice. He's dressed like a PA, around my age. So I'm standing there with the kid, and Leonardo DiCaprio walks out of his trailer. First off, super skinny. I did not expect him to be that thin. And I was like pretty jacked at this point, so I was like expecting like So he walks out of his trailer wearing like, he was wearing like slacks because he was in, the Revolutionary Road, like back in the times, like, the slacks. He was wearing a wife beater. And he just like gave me this look. He like looked out. He looked serious. I could tell he was in character. And he just looked serious. And he just like, I guess I'll have to take off my glasses.
So
I want to know
dramatic.
which story is real.
Do it. Get into it. Do it.
And he kind of gave me, he kind of looked out and he kind of gave this look kind of like, and he looked at the PA and then he just goes, can you get me a breakfast burrito? And the PA was like, yeah, sure. And then walked right back into his trailer. And that was my experience. And I said to the PA, I was like, can I give you my information to give to him? And he goes, I mean, sure, man. I mean, if I can get a chance to give it, I don't know. I don't think anything's going to happen with it. And then that was it.
And nothing happened?
No, they're two anticlimactic stories.
I hope you don't fuck the way you tell stories.
And then what happened? No, that was it.
And then I walked out.
You might want to work on your climax all through your life. Is all I'm
Guys,
saying.
think about this. I snuck in.
Jesus.
I snuck into set. Got all the way to Leonardo DiCaprio's trailer. It was New York City Grand Central. They had security. Everything was blocked off.
It's not that weird. I've done that a few times by accident in LA. Just walk through.
But it's
all the way to.
All right.
Yeah.
I got all the way to his trailer, and I was standing like.
Pre or post 9/11?
Wait. I was standing.
So they had trailers in the Grand Central Terminal?
On a side street, and he was like 7 feet from me.
Yeah.
I'm 22 years old, still in college. I went to 5 years of school, whatever. And I'm 22 years old, still in college. And I'm 7 feet from Leonardo DiCaprio. And he looks at me, gives me a weird look, and then turns to someone and goes, can you get me a breakfast burrito?
He didn't even ask who the fuck is this
That's
guy or why
fucking... No, he looked like, is this guy working? Because I was dressed nice. I was going to work. So it was like, he was looking at me like...
So, of course, he'd ask you for a burrito?
That's why it's so funny. That was the first thing I ever out of his mouth. He looked and he goes, can you get me a breakfast burrito? And then walked back in his
But
trailer.
he said it to the PA, not you, right?
I know, but that's still hilarious interaction to have after all of that.
Right.
I was excited. I was like, I'm going to give him my number. I'm going to give him my email.
I just love that you.
Hold on, was this post or pre 9/11?
It was post because it was 2000. It must have been 2008.
And when he said the
2007,
burrito, did he have
2007.
specific, no sour cream or any specific?
No, he just said, can you get me
That's where I
That
think
is
you're
weird.
lying. That's what I think you're lying. And because the trailer thing, you're like, I walked through Grand Central and then the trailer and then I went over there and then I think I'm just gonna start it off. I think that last story was a lie, my friend. I'm never right, by the way.
What do you think?
It's hard. Do you have any pictures of you being yoked at 22?
You don't believe
Yeah.
that.
Oh yeah. I got plenty of those. I'll send you those for days. I'll look at them with you.
Oh my god! He's like, that's what I masturbate to.
Yeah.
The fact that you said you were yoked makes me think that story is true because in your mind, what you remembered the most is I was bigger than Leonardo.
Hilarious.
I was
true,
beautiful
Kate.
and ready for the camera.
That's a good
Um,
point.
Yeah, I kind of, and I feel like there were certain details that you were trying to add to the first one that you were just trying to add stuff in there. And then you didn't want us to know who your friend was, but he wasn't so famous that he could just walk into the Playboy Mansion, but he wasn't that famous that they
But I
would
do feel
deny him.
like there were some other stories that I wanted to tell involving celebrities that were cool that like I left out because I was like, I just don't like, because they might just be like, dude, it's like a trust thing. They might be like, dude, why the fuck would you say that publicly? It's like, I don't, because this guy might get kind of embarrassed. Like, dude, you fucking telling people I didn't get in to the Playboy Mansion. Like, I was denied the door. It's just going to make him look bad. And he's done stuff since. So he definitely is a lot more established than he was at the time. And he was already,
What did you do at Fox in New York? You were an intern.
Fox News Channel. I was just interned.
So what did you do as an intern?
I worked in like basically like the tape library where I would have to like just
I feel like you're searching for the lie.
no, I had to basically like they needed footage of something that just happened. Like, hey, something happened in Afghanistan. I'd have to like basically go find the tape that had the footage that they needed to air.
Okay.
I'm gonna stick with. I think your last one was the lie. I'm gonna stick with.
I will say that the last one is true and the first one is not. I just feel like you thought we would believe that because you are a bro dude, and that's happened to a lot of bros. Playboy Mansion, it's like a regular.
That
like
has
I
not
said.
happened to a lot of. I don't know anyone else that's happening
because
to.
that first story is so boring. Why would you make that? If I was gonna make up a story, I'd
Thank
be
you for
like,
coming, but still.
Yeah, I'd be like, and then I shot a guy, and then I don't know.
Yeah, but maybe he's good at the game. I don't know. So tell us which is which.
But then
Hold on, do you
also-
want to guess anything?
yeah,
If
what's your
if
guess?
I was gonna guess, I would have to guess the second one's a lie, only because the first one is
I'm gonna
not
say second one
exciting.
true. Okay.
It's tough though.
So what do you guys think?
So
You
I
think-
say the second one's a lie. Jessica says the first one is a lie,
Mm-hmm.
and she says the second one is a lie. Kate says the second one is a lie. What is the truth? God damn it!
They're both true. No, I'm kidding. The first one's a lie.
The Playboy Mansion one
Yeah.
is a lie.
Yeah, boy.
She's always right. By the way, I'm so gullible.
You just got that from like The Hangover, or the movies. or
No,
something.
actually, what happened
Or
was
you had something similar.
I
happen
had
then.
I was gonna I have so many crazy stories, and then I was like, fuck, I want to keep them like the one that I was gonna tell. The true one that I was gonna tell is that actually like a really really cool thing, but it does have to do with a celebrity, and I was like, I don't know. I feel like maybe I don't know. And then
So did any of that first story happen to you?
no,
Like,
I've
did you
never
pull-
been, and I'm fucking furious about
You've
it.
never been to the Playboy
No,
Mansion?
but I really did co-host
And
Playboy
you know what
Radio a
threw
little
me
bit.
is that how in the world wouldn't you already knew Playmates?
Yeah.
Why wouldn't you have asked them to get you on the list? That just didn't make any sense to me.
All right, you're so better than this. God damn it.
But I see. This is the funny part about really quickly. Like I think that would be really. I know they're not like huge crazy stories, but like if you're there happening, like the Leonardo DiCaprio thing, like for like a 22-year-old, like a guy to get through all of that and to just be standing in front of Leonardo, someone that wants to get in entertainment isn't really in it yet, to just be standing there and then he looks at you and then turns away from you and just asks for a breakfast burrito. That's like pretty funny story. If you have to explain it, if you have to explain it.
Well, all right. I don't know, what's
Andrew's
the
making
guy
the great faces.
Now, what are your thoughts on Kate's story, John? Why don't you start that out? What are your thoughts on the first one where she took a shit and fished it out and then had to break back into the house?
See, this is interesting too, because then they got the thought process for it. It's like, yes, the first one's way more unbelievable, but she's not dumb. Does she know it's more unbelievable? The second one is way more believable to me, but like, why would she make it that easy? You know, the first one, it seemed like she was struggling a little bit at times, but also sometimes that happens when you're trying to remember details of something that happened, you know? And if you're a good liar, if you're a good,
Which one, John? Which one?
shit, literally. Fuck. I think I'm gonna go with my gut, while my mind is telling me that the second one is the lie, but my gut watching you talk is telling me, and I really want to know, is telling me that the first one was a lie, even though after overanalyzing
So what's your
it,
decision?
the first one was a lie.
All right.
Okay.
Going with my gut.
I want them both to be true.
And I want that first one to be true so fucking bad.
I know, but
God
also
damn
the
it.
second one, I want to know that
To be true.
Kate Quigley shit herself at the Ventura Comedy Club. I don't know why that gives me pleasure, but wow, I just imagine you like, you know, that road, that dark road you got to go on to get to Ventura, to the comedy club in Ventura where you pull off the freeway, and I just like, wow. That you had all
Well, let me
those
ask you
thoughts
this. What
during
had
that dark
happened?
ride.
Do you normally have pretty solid poos?
Well, it depends how much I'm using the calming powder.
Okay, because you had gotten plastic bags to pick out your poo.
Yeah.
Now, what about the toilet paper from the poo?
What about it?
What did you do with it?
It was mixed in with the poo.
So did you get it all in one scoop, or how
No.
did you scoop the poo?
No, it was a few scrapes, and then I cleaned out what
This
was
is
left
disgusting.
How did you clean it out?
with
I
a
didn't-
cup from the kitchen.
I think the first one is a lie. The first one is a lie, and the second one is true. That's what I say.
Why wouldn't you get like a strainer?
Oh, you've done this before, huh? This isn't her first road. You can't get shit past her.
At the time, it felt weird going through his whole kitchen. I only met him once.
Well, you have like those
I don't even know if he had a strainer.
those noodle
I know what they are.
Yeah, but you have the
Jessica.
like those noodle spoons that would have been
wasn't hard.
perfect to scoop
It
poo.
wasn't hard to pick it up. I've had a dog. It's like
Yeah, but you had to get the
dog-
toilet paper all with the water, and it's
once
wet.
it's all mixed up in there, that's not like a dog.
That's not like a dog anymore.
Well, you're right.
The first one's a lie. That's what I say. First one's a lie. There's my choice right there. What do you say, Jessica?
God damn it. This one's so hard. I'm going to say the first one is a lie, although I really want it to be true. No, fuck that. First one's true. First one is true. Second one's a lie.
All right, what is it, guys?
All right. The second one is 100% true.
Oh,
I knew it,
yes,
though. I knew it.
I shit my
I just
pants.
wanted it so bad. I wanted it.
I should have gone with my brain there. That's my brain was telling me.
It's all real.
Damn it.
To be fair to you
I
guys,
love that Randy
parts
Lubis
of-
is a part of that story.
I know, right? To be fair to you, parts of the first story are true, but it didn't happen to me. It happened to a girl I know, and the end is a complete lie. She did not call a locksmith
She
and
left
try
it.
to break back in. But I do have a girlfriend that did leave a bag of shit on a guy's counter and leave him a note that said that. But it was a guy she was actually dating, and so it was. I used details.
Did they keep dating after?
No, she really never saw him again.
Okay.
But she really did leave a pile of shit on his counter.
I also
so
think I
that
didn't listen
explains-
as good as I should have.
What?
I'm not a good listener.
I
don't
just,
think.
in my heart, I wanted that first one to be true so
But
bad.
the first one is true
Wow.
that another girl did that. And
Right.
You guys got me on the. I did have a one night stand with a football player, and I tried to make it about him, but he had a loft, and this girl's guy had a house. So you did.
Yes,
get me.
I
You did
caught
get me.
that. You never catch anything, Kate,
Because
by the way.
I'm a bad liar too, so I was trying to make it my own story, like an actor in my head, and you
Right.
got me.
Yeah, because then you added afterwards the cup thing.
Can
and
I
was
do my
like,
stories
yeah.
again? Can I do different stories now?
No, but you can come back and do other stories.
Okay,
if
I'll
you'd
do
like to
much
That
go
was
better
really
ones.
fun.
You guys, thank you so much for coming out and spending your afternoon with us. Is there anything you would like to plug?
Just my podcast, Date Fails, and follow me at Kate Q Funny.
And what is the name of that calming powder?
That's a real thing.
It's really?
That
That's
calming powder is called Natural Calm. They sell it at CVS. Don't overdo it.
Okay. And how about you?
I would like to plug my social media. I would like the follows.
You may.
John Campanelli 1. I don't have the other John Campanelli. I don't want to get into that. It's a little bit of a sore subject, but I have John Campanelli 1, and I've got 2 comedy albums out. Go buy them, please. And then also just come watch me do shows and stuff.
He's jacked.
And you're yoked. Thank you again so much for coming by. If you've enjoyed the podcast at all today, or if we have made you laugh on another podcast, do us a big favor and head over to iTunes and leave a sweet-ass review. You can also email us. And I've been Felicia Michaels.
And I'm Jessica Wellington. And you've been lied to.